of mayo. I couldn't hear what he was screaming. His face was red with the effort, and his eyes were shiny blue and watery. I told myself that he was handsome like that, angry. I was not in my body. I was above us, watching from afar, small and separate from the world. The canal was usually so pretty here by the Harold's Cross Bridge on the south side of Dublin. Reeds grew alongside the water. A soft rain was in the air. So soft it barely fell, but drifted around until it hit the ground. There were stone workmen's cottages that backed up to the canal, except for the thin walking path that went between their back walls and the water. Someone was tearing the insides out of one. I could smell the pile of old wood and moldy sheetrock in the yard. It smelled like the damp, cold dust of a tomb. I thought if I got out of my flat for a while, Eamon wouldn't be so mad, and maybe he would love me again. He followed me. He ran down the street after me. I had tried to duck around the corner where he wouldn't see me, but he did. That's when he had started screaming at me. There was no talking to him like this, because his anger made him deaf. I thought, I don't know who that woman is who lets that man yell at her. I knew it wasn't me. I felt heavy. I couldn't move my arms, my legs. The sky was the same slate gray as the wet pavement, the canal dark and deep. Water rings spread out from each drop that fell from the wet tree limbs above. I didn't know where the canal started, but I knew it ended near to Sandy Mount with its wide, flat beach where, when the tide was out, you could walk for miles in the direction of the sea, the channel, and ultimately the Atlantic beyond. There were tiny shells scattered on the beach. They sparkled like tears. The sunrise there made the morning haze bright and vague. I wished that, instead of where I was, I could fly away there with the sea air clearing my brain, my bruises. A pack of Marlboro Reds stuck out of the pocket of Eamon's worn jean jacket. His collar stood up crooked on one side. I reached up to fix it. He slapped my hand away. I need a day to think, that's all, I said. Eamon said, the day is over at 1 past midnight. He flipped a cigarette between his lips and lit it. The blue smoke left a cloud in the air as he hunched his shoulders more deeply into his jacket and walked away. My friend Suzanne and I spent the afternoon packing Eamon's things into cardboard boxes. She had come to visit from Oakland a few months ago and had stayed. Our friends Eric, Mark, and Smelly Rob came over. They were long-haired, tartan-clad warriors of the Irish clan Tuatha Na Gael that sword-fought in fields to the delight of onlookers. We drank tea and strategized. Mark said, get out of Dublin until things cool down, go from there. Smelly Rob said, she shouldn't be the one to leave, he's the one with the fucking problem. And Eric, do you want me to talk to him? I could take him out, have a few words, Rob said, I don't see as how that would be doing any good. You know what I mean? The bloke has a bloody screw loose. Suzanne, what do you make of him? Child, please, I'm staying out of it. Whatever you do, girl, I'm down. Everyone looked at the floor or at their tea except Mark. He leaned forward in his chair and looked straight at me. Then he reached out and took my hand. She's gonna go. A palpable wave of relief washed over the room. Everyone except Mark and I seemed to explode into instant activity. I whispered to him, where do I go? And he said, soft and sweet as would break your heart, as far as you can. Hours later, Rob and Eric carried boxes of Eamon's things out to the landing, where I left them knowing he would be there at 12:01. Rob said, he's going to be pissed. It's true, I said, he's going to go ballistic. Rob grabbed me in a bear hug. Sure, what can you do but leave him to God? Suzanne said, girl, you can take the guy out the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out the guy. Poor thing, poor soul. And Mark hollered up from below, poor me fucking arse. Suzanne said, come on, Carlina, we need to go. Hob hugged me tighter to him. My chest was near bursting as I held on, fearing that if I let go, I would fall. We drove all night to the furthest point on the map from Dublin that we could and found a hostel that was open in winter. When we got out of the car, the wind blew straight off the Atlantic without a scrap to stop it. It was bitter cold. but the air smelled of the ocean and the heat and the turf fires burning. The sky opened wide above us, and wind-blown plants waved in greeting, and bleached white whale bones lined the path to the door. That night we slept under piles of old woolen army blankets and woke to the bright skies, and sunlight, fully clothed, leapt out of bed to turn on the heater and back under the blankets where we cowered under the edge and had been taken off the cold, our nose twitching out from under the covers like bunnies under the heather, grinning at our mad dash escape. Should we go back? I asked. Suzanne said, not yet. Should I call him? Girl, what are you thinking? That man would hunt you down and kick your ass if he found out where you were. Nobody had said it out loud before. Nobody had said that Emmett could be, that he was, dangerous. Suzanne had witnessed it. She told the truth about it. I couldn't pretend anymore that it wasn't so. Suzanne said, let's explore, and we were set into motion against the cold. A week we spent in County Mayo, going here and there to towns and villages, to Achill, to Castlebar, to Ballina. Going, we went to the shrine at Knock, where we bought bottles in the shape of the Virgin and filled them with holy water, and I prayed to Mary for deliverance from evil. Going to Rossport and Newport and Kiel. We were going everywhere but back to Dublin until there was nowhere else to be going to, except back to the cliffs of Mayo, where we jumped and hopped and danced from spongy tuff to heather-sponged soil until we stood looking over the edge. The cliffs so high I looked down at the horizon. Cormorants streamlined diving into the water below me for their prey, emerging triumphant, flying free. It felt like the edge of heaven itself, and all I had to do was decide to be reborn and jump off the edge, jump into a new life, with the rain and the tumult of the silver and blue and sparkling Atlantic that spit up amniotic foam in bubble clusters blown across the heath like ocean rabbits darting this way and that, inland into life, flecking and frisking by us, glistening in the sun. I held my arms out to the wind that whisked away my self-pity and my misplaced loyalty and my delusions of what love looked like, and it took with it the cobwebs of apathy and my delusion, and cobwebs of apathy grown inside me, damp like mold. My skin hurt from the cold. My fingers were frozen. My legs ached with the effort of standing upright under the gale. But I did. I felt the anger beating in my veins like the constant bow-rung drumbeat on the night before a battle, and when I closed my eyes and trusted the wind to hold me upright as I leaned over the cliffs of Mayo, I felt like I could be flying.